Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello and welcome to another week's episode of Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
And friends, this week we are doing our 2023 F1 season review. However,
How the fuck is this year over?
I know, right? I know. So we did our final couple races recap last week and basically said, yep, glad it's over. So now we're going to talk about the whole season and our thoughts on it and basically who did great, who did bad, you know, the usual season review stuff. Before we get there, though, I think we should just, touch on a little bit of newsy things that have been around social media the last few days. And first thing I want to talk about with you guys, the alleged, because no announcement has been made, Charles Leclerc contract extension.
Wow,
Why?
that man's signing up for 5 more years of pain.
Yep.
May I suggest therapy?
I think he likes pain. Like, I don't know.
Look, I ain't yucking anyone's yums, okay? If that's what you want in your life, cool. But also, unless he just doesn't think he could go anywhere else and just, stays with Ferrari just to have a seat in F1, I could see that. But, you're signing up long-term for something that is, at least at this point, a sinking ship. And has been a sinking ship for the past, 2 seasons.
I disagree with that. It's a sinking ship.
Fair enough.
However, it's not going anywhere. It's a ship with a broken rudder. You're just going in a circle. There's no direction there.
Fair enough.
There's no
There's no
go
hole
straight
in the
ahead.
bottom.
Yeah. The luckiest thing is some, I don't know, some orca comes along and nudges you in the right direction while trying to kill you. That might be the best
that
case
would be the
scenario.
hope. That would be the hope. Something needs to change, though. Something has to change in the team. Whether it's the culture or, the engineering team that go, behind the car or management. I don't know. But, stuff needs to change because it ain't it. They're not getting the job done. They might, and they have a good car. It's not like they don't have the tools. But, strategy's terrible. They suffered this all year. So, I don't know. The only way he's going to find success is if something changes.
What's more likely to change? Ferrari being dominant like they used to be back in the early 2000s and him winning, or Ferrari being good but not great and Leclerc having to drive the shit out of it to win?
Definitely Ferrari just saying as a solid team and Leclerc having to drive the shit out of it.
I didn't ask what do you think that's more likely?
I think so.
The guy who we've seen progressively get less and less aggressive is gonna suddenly start driving aggressive to win?
Maybe. Again, maybe he can go evil Charles Leclerc next year.
Yeah. I don't actually think that Steven's that far off. He could have a different, mentality going into next season. Maybe this contract renewal with Ferrari, I don't know, lights a fire under his butt, and he gets a little bit more of that aggression back in his driving style. The Leclerc that we used to see. But, not as much as the Leclerc that we used to see that, takes out his teammates.
No, I think bring that Leclerc back. I think, and I would say this is a problem with F1. Guys are too comfortable in their seats.
Too chummy.
Yeah, honestly, fair. They're too chummy. They're not Leclerc. You think it's gonna let a fire under his ass, or is it more gonna be I can relax.
Yeah,
I'm not
true.
at risk of losing my seat.
I feel these
But then-
long contracts are just so like they're more like they're newer in recent years. Like it's not like we had drivers who had like long contracts of like 5 or 6 years in the past when everyone used to hate each other and the competition was so fierce because year to year you just didn't know where you were going to be.
And you had guys that could win any year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the issue nowadays is you have 3 teams that are so clearly at the top. You're not going to move from one of those teams unless it's to one of the other 3 teams, or you retire.
True.
So, like, it's kind of like the state of Formula One has created this environment
Mm-hmm.
where
That's it.
Ferrari's or Leclerc, like you said, is not going. I don't think he's going to be incentivized with this contract to race hard. Ferrari is not going to be super incentivized to build him the absolute greatest car they can, because if we can't develop this right, we got next year, and it will always be like that.
And that's the thing. I don't see the main reason I said it's more likely Leclerc will become aggressive or just become a dominant or have to drive the shit out of the car. He can drive the shit out of it without being overly aggressive.
True.
Right? Like, I just think it's going to be harder for Ferrari to build a dominant car that can dominate like the years you're alluding to. So, not that it was only the car.
Fair.
Schumacher in his heyday was an aggressive driver and, had his own little controversies here and there and sort of did whatever it took to win sometimes. But
it's amazing what that mentality
used
does.
to be, though.
Yeah.
That's the way it used to be, and that was the normal, and
But-
it's what made F1 so exciting.
Oh God, we sound so old. Sean's calling the drivers soft. We're all reminiscing about the heyday of F1 and saying it needs to go back to the way it was when we were younger. Oh God.
To be fair, no one swept an entire fucking season like this last season. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry to say I like it how it used to be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. I mean, when you're coming off a season like 2023 where all we heard was the Dutch national anthem, like, weeks at a time, yeah, you get a little nostalgic to the variety that you used to get.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
didn't it used to always be like Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen? That was the variety forever.
Yeah, for a couple years.
At least we had a different podium this time. Maybe.
Yeah. You know what? It got mixed up. The problem is it was just the same fixture at the top. It was just the whole who's joining the Max Verstappen podcast this week. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, outside of Singapore, really.
Yeah.
So,
Other contract news, which I guess is from that fun chat about Leclerc, Logan Sargent confirmed back next year, the official worst fucking silly season to go along with the absolute worst season ever, just to really put a nice tidy bow on 2023 F1.
not a surprise though, really, right?
It's not surprising.
Not at
bad.
this point in the year. If it was July summer break and they made this announcement, sure, a little bit surprising, but
Mm-hmm.
not really at this point. Who's gonna come into this seat now, right?
No, agreed. Yeah, like who's going to come into it now? What other options do you have? He did fine the last few races anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
and well, that's the thing. Like, was he
Yeah.
so bad? Like, no, he was not great. I'm not saying he had a fantastic, blew everyone away season. He is a rookie in a back marker. What more did you expect? Maybe a couple
Yeah.
more showings, but what else did you expect? He
Hmm.
didn't. This wasn't scoring a point at the beginning of the season would have been like a really good job, man. Like I realized that when he scored said point, he was like the 12th car on the grid, but still put himself in a good position. So yeah, it's not surprising. Next year will be a make or break if he's like this to start. That's for sure.
I mean,
Well, I don't know. It's just I feel like I was so disappointed with silly season this year because it's like I feel like there's so many drivers who deserve a seat in F1, and like part of the beauty of it is that we get to see a variety year to year, and we're not seeing the same thing over and over again. And it was just like nothing exciting happened. Like the only thing that happened was DeVries getting dropped and Ricardo coming back, and the excitement with Lawson filling in when he broke his wrist. It was just I don't know. It's just like as a fan, like I feel like we look forward to silly season and like who's gonna be back, who's gonna be driving where, what's the shakeup gonna be, and how will that determine, what we see next year. And we just didn't get anything this year.
to be fair, next season, 13 drivers go into the season on expiring deals. So again,
True.
maybe it's kind of a combination of we had a lot of people on secured contracts for this year, guaranteed like 2-year deals, stuff like that for this and next. So maybe with a couple guys who have to drive to survive,
It's funny.
maybe with that, we will get more drama next year on the track, off the track. Maybe some guys come out of the gate not performing well. They're booted early on. We might get more. It's hard to say.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, there is going to be a massive, like the seat in Red Bull is going to be a big question. Like Checo is done at the end of 2024. So I think that's going to be a big question mark in silly season for next year. So yeah, like I think you are right. Like next year, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of different shakeups happening.
I mean, or we are just right back here next year, be like, they fucking didn't change anyone again. Everyone extended. Damn it, F1.
That'd be very depressing.
That would be so upsetting.
It just shows we need an extra team. That's really it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Amen.
And last thing, before we move on to the actual talk about the season, last thing I want to mention is Verstappen was asked about the possibility of doing Le Mans. And he said he was talking to Fernando Alonso about it and said, Alonso said that he would do it again if he could have Max as his teammate.
No way. That would be so awesome.
Do you think more F1 drivers should take part in Le Mans? And who
Yes,
would your
why
ideal
not?
team be?
I would love to see Verstappen and Alonso. Like 10 out of 10.
Throw those two and Hamilton in a car together.
Jesus.
That would be insane.
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
honestly,
Does the F1 schedule work for Le Mans next year?
That's what I was just checking.
I actually
Okay.
don't know.
June 15th and 16th.
Because, like, I would love for F1 to actually purposefully put a break in the schedule that year. And maybe you do, like, you submit an F1 team, put stars upon stars, basically making like an all-star team of F1 drivers, compete in Le Mans, and just see how you do.
I think.
Or put the Le Mans
okay, what
teams
did you
in,
say?
like, make like 3 teams in Le Mans. Make like an LMP2 team, a hypercar team, and a GT team.
So, what did you say the dates were for 2024, Steven? For Le Mans?
So Le Mans is the 15th and 16th. So the problem there is
it's in between.
Yeah, you have a
It's in
doubleheader
between.
folled by a week break where Le Mans would be followed by a triple header.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
So-
that would,
Christ,
they would
F1.
probably not go for that.
You're gonna have to convince the FIA and F1 to take a date or two out, which I don't see happening, considering they say they want to add more dates right now.
There was too many races on the F1 calendar. I will stand by that to the day I die.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. There was way too many.
Yeah.
I think there was. I would argue that there was maybe 4 too many.
How many number would be your ideal?
So what did they have? 20. I think 24 this year. 23.
They were supposed to have 23. We had 22 because Imola.
Okay. Honestly, I think 18 is a decent number.
Okay, I was thinking 19.
Math. Yeah, 18, 19 I think is good.
Yeah, there was the one poll I remember from the beat, like when the new schedule came out, and it was like, would you like to have 21 plus, 18 to 20, or 18 and less? And I think most people landed in that 18 to 20 range.
The reason
And that's
I
sort
say
of the right number.
The reason I say 19, if say 2 teammates both driving for, I don't know, say Red Bull, finish 1-2, 1-2, back and forth every single race, the final race would then be your tiebreaker. If it's exactly even, whoever would win that would come on top. So that's why I think an odd number just for that alone. So some guy has like, what, 9 wins, 9 seconds? Other guy has 9 wins, 9 seconds. In fantasy land where that's actually possible.
And flips back and forth on the sprint races too.
You know, in my ideal world, sprint races don't exist.
No.
Yes, I know.
I agree. I was just going to say, no, get rid of them. In the ideal world, if this is what we're going with, no. They're scrapped. Stupid. They're scrapped.
Yes. So, yeah.
Also, if we got to that tiebreaker scenario, I'd just be more amazed.
Yeah, honestly. That'd be must-watch TV.
Yeah. Split fastest laps, too. Oh, God.
Also, that would no longer be a thing. But you could do that also if you split it and had, you know, the guy who won every race won the fastest lap, basically.
Yeah.
So, again, you need to have an odd number just for tiebreak purpose at the end.
Yeah,
Just in
fair.
case.
Yes.
19 I think is still a good number, though. Like,
Even though realistically, number of races for a tiebreaker does not matter. That is a very extreme scenario.
Yeah, but in that scenario, 9 wins, 9 second places, going to first turn, take each other out. Who wins?
LOL. Whoever has the...
We go. I have an idea. We go to a shootout, and like it's like a sprint format between the two of them.
Pit stop challenge, you coward.
It's the same, but it's the same team.
Oh shit.
So then Max still becomes the champion.
Oh no.
True.
You see Horner going and unplugging everyone's guns when the second car comes in.
Yep.
Cutting the brakes.
Gremlin in the garage.
Yep. Comes in and just like throws like one of the tire changers on top of the car. Oh no.
Body checks the jackman at the front.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Le Mans would be fun with some F1 drivers. Would love to see it.
Will not happen.
No, never.
Didn't...
Though it would be interesting to see if Verstappen goes off and wins everything next year. Again, what, 3-time world champion, no competition, and decides, fuck this, I'm out. I want to actually compete. Steven, I see your hands. It's 3.
Oh, you're on Team Hamilton now. Fine.
Oh, man.
Sorry, 3 without competition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 3, like, basically handed to him because everybody else...
So basically, he gets bored and fucks off.
Yeah. Again,
Gotcha.
if he leaves, seeing F1's response to that and being like, oh no, we just lost him, would be fascinating.
Yeah, because he's basically said, like, I don't really care about breaking records or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's just, like, in it to enjoy
Racing.
it while I guess he enjoys it. And I guess the minute he stops, like, I honestly think, like, totally see him pulling, like, a Rosberg and just dipping. But not, like, retiring fully from racing.
They go to sports cars.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
They'd all just, like, no longer be F1 fans.
Yeah, every single circuit's attendance drops. F1 would panic so much.
Oh, yeah, they'd be like, what about our money? Where's our money going to come from?
We're still going to be rolling out the corpse of Daniel Ricciardo in like 30 years. Like, hey guys, remember this guy? We like him, right?
Oh, yeah, they'll be capitalizing on his humor for, like, years to come.
Yeah. Anyway, So on that depressing note, let's talk about the depressing season.
Do we have to?
Yes.
So,
All right.
quick thing on Max Verstappen's dominance. Did you see he did not have to come back after the summer break?
Basically, yeah.
No, someone did the math, and based on
Oh,
how
really?
everything scored and everything like that, had he not raced after the summer break, he still would have won.
Could have saved a shit ton of money on his entry fees next year.
Wow.
Yeah, he's gonna have an expensive license. So, yeah. What is there to say?
Oh my gosh.
Like, we shit on it so much, but is it not also such an amazing display of talent and engineering that Red Bull did this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, do they not?
I feel like
Does Max and Red Bull not all around deserve an A+?
yes, of course. Like we would be remiss to not talk about how dominant Red Bull was and how amazing it was to see like a piece of like wonderful engineering out of I don't know, like there's not much to say. Like the season speaks for itself. Like Red Bull was amazing this year and Verstappen was just unmatched.
Man, that Singapore race, that just hurts looking at, honestly.
They
Two,
never
one,
do
two,
well at
one,
Singapore.
5. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
They never do well at Singapore.
No. Man, that is unbelievable. Like, really, it is history, right? There's never going to be
Yeah.
a season like that again.
First 1,000 lap leader.
1,000?
Yep.
Damn.
Then we'll never. Yeah, I mean, like, it's true. It's true. And I feel like in 8 years, I feel like I was having a conversation about this. It might have been on the weekend, and someone had said, I think it was Will Buxton had tweeted that in the Schumacher days, like people were saying the exact same thing, right? Like, oh, it's so boring. Like Schumacher wins so much, and like, you know, you kind of know what you're gonna watch, and he's probably gonna be dominant. But you know, 8 years later, 10 years later, after all of that, like people understand now that they watched history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And 10 years from this season, people are gonna look back and be like, oh right, I watched that live. And we could, you know, we might say, okay, yeah, it was boring to watch, we knew, but he's like, he had an amazing season. He had a history-making season. And at some point, we'll look back and appreciate it for what it was.
My issue was, it felt like nothing was earned. Like, he wasn't beating his teammate. It wasn't close fights. His teammate was gone, DNFing half the time, too, in some of those like later races. And yeah, like, he just ran off with it. Like, I think he had the most wins by 15 or more seconds ever also. Like, I think it was like 13 or something like that. Like, it was nuts how he would just, okay, and let's go out, and he's gone.
Yep.
So I think that's the frustrating part.
Yep. You want some stats here for laps? Max
Verstappen
led 1,003 laps this year. The rest of the field, 322.
That's insane.
10 different drivers led a race at some point this year.
So did Yuki Tsunoda.
Yep. I was gonna say, fun quiz.
Yuki Tsunoda
Can
had
you
more
guys
than Alonso.
Yes. Can you name the? Okay, so there you got 3 right now. Can you name the other leaders?
Well, Carlos Sainz won a race.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He was 3rd, 77.
Sergio Perez.
There you go. I was gonna say the only other race. Well, yeah, the only other race.
Oh, Perez, yeah.
So sorry,
Okay,
what is
well,
it? It's how many
you
drivers
got
is
there? 10 drivers. That's what the whole reason I figured I'd do this.
10 drivers, so half the grid led the lap.
So you got Verstappen, Perez, Sainz. So you got your top 3. You also had
Alonso.
Tsunoda and Alonso, who are 8 and 9.
Okay, Alonso, Tsunoda. Did Piastri lead a lap?
He led 1 lap.
Okay.
He's the
okay.
number 10.
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
You got 3 more.
What about Lando?
Lando was 5th, 30 laps led.
Okay.
We had
That's what I
Leclerc,
thought.
right? We had Leclerc?
If you didn't, you do now. He had 41 laps
Yeah,
led.
okay.
Okay. So who do we have? Okay, Matt.
You
Max
got
is
Verstappen,
Yeah.
Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, Norris as your top 5. You also have 8, 9, and 10 being Sonoda, Alonso, Piastri.
So we're missing 7?
You're missing 6 and 7.
Russell
Russell
and Hamilton.
and Hamilton.
Okay, for some reason, did Hamilton lead a lap?
He led
I was
13.
gonna say I'm pretty.
Okay.
I was like, I think so because I remember there were quite a few that they had podiums and they were up there. So okay, sweet, we got them.
Yep. But yeah, the other 9 drivers led less than a third of the laps that Max led.
That hurts my soul. Anyways,
That's insane.
good
But
job,
again, if you're
Max.
if you're watching F1 to watch the best on-track competition, you're watching the wrong series.
At least right now. I mean, we don't know what it's going to be like next
Year-
year. It could be much different, but
Yes, but year in year, so the whole thing is like IndyCar and NASCAR, best like competition parity.
Yes.
F1 is the pinnacle of
Engineering.
motorsport in terms of
Mhm.
engineering and technological standpoint.
So they make shit fucking tires.
Yes.
Still stand by that. So yeah, Max A+, Red Bull obviously A+. How do we feel about Paris season?
Forgettable, I think. I mean, I almost feel like we can't say that because like he's still got second in the driver standings, right? But I feel like people compared him to Max, and that's where the criticism came from. And like he did make some mistakes, he did have his struggles, but overall he did pretty well. I mean, to put himself in second.
Give him a grade, Taylor. Give him a grade.
I'd say a B+. A- B+.
Steven, are you
Wow.
doing it or I doing it?
I'm doing it.
Okay.
What?
Oh wait, are you talking about grade? I thought you were talking about who's writing down the grades. I'm writing down the
Oh,
grades.
no, I meant just more like who's going to actually
Oh.
bring her down to earth and
Oh,
also bring Paris down to earth.
I had Perez at
Oh,
like a C
come on.
minus.
What?
Yeah, I agree with that.
A
I'm not
C
gonna lie.
minus?
Yeah.
He won 2 races,
Oh.
but then like just fucked off the rest of the year.
Okay, fair enough.
Even
It's
if
almost-
you were
it-
like 5
You had to
seconds
do enough to get
slower.
second.
Okay,
Okay.
but that car was good enough where like anyone in that car should have gotten second.
Okay, so basically what we're saying is that it was the car that got him second and not his driving.
So, in the first 5 races, he had 4 podiums and 2 wins. After that, how many podiums did Perez have?
He podiumed in
Probably not.
Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to save you the
I'm trying-
math. He had 5.
Okay,
Oof.
I was gonna say it was
First 4
definitely just a
races, he had-
handful.
First 5 races, he had 4.
Yeah.
The rest of the 18 races, he had 5, and didn't win again. That is atrocious.
Yeah.
While your teammate is running away 15 plus seconds down the road, you're still fighting 5th,
Yeah,
6th,
all right.
3rd.
Okay.
Your teammate is your benchmark always in F1.
Yeah, that is fair. That is
Stroll
fair.
put up more of a fight with Alonso than Perez did to Max.
That's terrifying. And yeah, like I want to go lower than a C minus, but you win 2 races. How do you go lower than that?
So yeah, I have no other notes for that. That's it.
Nope.
So do we go drivers or teams? How do you want to do this?
I've got it set up as drivers, so please go by drivers. I don't want to reorganize this.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine. We can do team as we
Or-
go by.
Yeah. Or you know what? Go by teams. It's fine. There's only one other driver. It's
God
not like I have
damn
to
it,
jump
man.
around to like 5 different people.
Okay, fine. So go team number 2 in the constructor. So Mercedes. Mercedes season.
Much like their car, up and down.
Side to side like a roller coaster.
No, that's my.
No, sorry.
I was making a porpoising joke, but yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Sorry. Should have said more porpoise.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. I'll see myself out.
Mercedes, because like it's tough, because it almost feels like they're just having a couple lame duck years after how bad it was last year, and it almost feels like 2021 has just broken this team. And they are just not going to recover. Like the last 2 years, Toto's like, this car is absolute garbage. I can't design shit.
I think Toto can't recover from not being number one anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the team is mentally broken.
No, yeah.
Or at the very least, the figurehead of the team is very much broken.
Like it's like you're bitching, but you're not the number one anymore, so you're not getting the calls you used to get. There is no more number one favoritism that the FIA loves to show.
It's the whole Toy Story. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yes, 100%. Like, there's an obvious trend in the FIA of, being lenient to the number one team.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, people said the FIA was like the Ferrari. What was it? It was like the Ferrari International Assistant, something like that.
Yeah.
Then it became, always helping Mercedes. Now it's always helping Red Bull because Max doesn't get penalized when everyone else does.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there is a trend there of favoritism.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not getting the calls. Toto still bitches like he's top dog, but
Yeah.
it just comes off as whining. Lewis, honestly, he tried.
Yeah. I give him a B. Like
I would give him a B plus.
yeah, like I sort of waver. Like B's anywhere in the B I think is solid because it wasn't like a fantastic season, but we know the car was really bad to start.
Mm-hmm.
They developed it
Yeah.
somewhat decently.
I would also give him a B. I think he did his best with what he had.
Yeah, like I would give him a B. Mercedes the team. No, I'd go Lewis B plus. Mercedes the team B minus. George C plus.
Oh,
Ooh.
George is. I would slot George at.
Yeah.
No, C plus actually is fair. I think C plus is fair.
It is, right? Because like
I kind of wanted to give him a C, but C plus is fair.
he also bitched a lot too. It seemed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and like when he was bitching, there was a lot of times where it was his own fault because of just overdriving the car.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
like
it was
the amount of
pretty
time, the amount of
annoying.
George's best thing this year was how memeable he was, and a lot of that is either off track or just being Karen Russell. And how much complaining.
Definitely more Karen Russell, I would say.
Yeah,
So-
it was what I found interesting is like he's developed the it's never me mentality where it's almost I would say 99.9% somebody else's fault and never George's. Like there's like the off time that he actually accepts responsibility when something actually is his fault. But most of the time it's very much it's him. It's always them. It's always somebody else.
Yeah, he's the guy who needs to listen to Taylor Swift a little more. Maybe you're the problem, George.
Yeah. Listen to a little anti-hero. Get it out.
Yeah, basically. So, Mercedes, not the best season. Moving on.
See what they can do next year. What'd you give the team, Sean?
B minus? B minus, yeah.
Sure, we'll go B minus.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Fernando Alonso.
Why are you not even gonna?
Fernando A. Alonso. I'll give Alonso an A.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carried
I would-
that team.
Should have won.
He
Honestly,
carried
should have
that
won.
team. Yes. Agreed.
The great
I
choke
think-
of Monaco.
You know, like, I just don't get it. I feel like this is the second season where they had showed such great promise at the beginning of the season, and then development just killed them.
Yep.
Like, whatever they did midway through the season was like, it's like they just couldn't come back from that. They had a couple of good races here and there to the end of the season, but, like, it was like pulling teeth trying to get results out of that car.
Yeah, but even then, I would still give the team overall. I'd give the team still like a B plus.
Yeah.
No one expected them to come out of the gate and be number 2. They were.
True.
Then they decided to screw up their entire, I guess, advantage they had. Yeah, because they had also extra wind tunnel time compared to everyone else. They had an advantage and they squandered it, and became the 5th best car by the end of the year. So, still fine.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's somewhat similar to Perez, where it's like you started off so well. How low can I get it? The only difference between them and Perez is Perez didn't really have great results compared to expectation. Like at the end of the season, it was like, wow, Aston Martin literally is the 5th best car. If they get points, I'll be amazed.
Yeah, then you look at the end, and they had, in the last 3 races, 3 top 5s.
Yeah.
So they at least came on at the end. So maybe there's some hope there. They had also a rough middle section with like bad luck. Stroll being in whatever funk he was in.
Oh yeah, so true.
But he definitely seemed to recover from that by the end of the year.
So where are you putting Stroll then?
B. He was fine.
B?
Yeah.
I had him
I'd say
as
B
like
minus.
I had him as like a C plus. Like I was trying to figure out what you do with Stroll at this point, because he's not a rookie anymore. He's not even a young guy anymore. He's been in for like 7 years at this point.
It's nearly 25.
Yeah, but he started at 18, so
Still.
and like there's just, even with the early injury, there's just zero consistency in his performances. And I get part of it was also just when he got hot and when Aston had the car working. Like, he wasn't scoring points in the middle. That wasn't necessarily all his fault. The car wasn't nearly as competitive as it was at the beginning of the season, when you could say, well, he's probably not driving 100%. Well, he definitely wasn't driving 100% because he rushed back from the wrist injury.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then how much does that affect the rest of his season? I don't know. So, but like next year, there needs to be some sign of consistency in his racing and performance, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? Like, you can't be having these finishing 18th and then finishing 5th.
I'd be interested to see after next year if Alonso's done, he's gone. If they bring some young guy in and Stroll is the team lead, if that would affect his performance.
Maybe.
Like, talking about earlier,
Maybe.
like lighting a fire under a guy's ass. Maybe
Especially
that's
if he get-
something that is more
Especially if
than
he,
a contract.
yeah, especially if he gets his ass kicked the first couple races of that season.
Whew. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would make things interesting. Maybe introduce a little job security questioning. I mean, he already gets those questions, but like, and again, thing is, he has good performances where it's like you see why he made it to this level outside of his dad owning a team.
Yeah, like he's good.
Yeah.
He has the talent every now and then. He's just not consistent. And
Yeah, he is not Mazepin.
No. But maybe next year, who knows? Stroll, Schumacher could be a fun pair.
That'd be fun.
Just an idea. Anyway, moving on from Tin Martin.
Uh-huh.
I still love them. It's fine. Charles Leclerc and Ferrari, and then Sainz.
Let Taylor do this one.
Okay. Ferrari, I feel like they had so much promise at the beginning of the season, and their car wasn't that bad. That's the thing. Like, I would give the team... Oh, but we had so many problems. I would give the team a B-, because even though the performance could be there, strategy was so off. I think part of the problem as to why, like, Leclerc maybe didn't see as much success as he had hoped is that there were just so many issues going on in the garage. Like, I mean, like, how many races did we watch and we're like, what in the actual heck is Ferrari doing? They would Ferrari things all the time.
Yeah.
Especially
Still
first
a
half,
status quo.
major.
Oh, yeah, and you're just like, it's like questioning so many other decisions that just, like, honestly didn't make sense. So yeah, like, what did I say? B-?
Yeah.
B- for the team?
B-. Yeah.
I think Charles did the best he could with the situation that he had. Like, it was bad. I mean, like, I think he had some bad luck. I would give him a B. He was up there. He had a couple of podiums.
He was the best
Sainz?
qualifier.
Yeah, I would give Sainz a B+. I think he did the best he could.
He won a race.
In certain situations. Yeah, he won a race. So
He's the only non-Red Bull.
think,
only non-Red Bull.
Yeah. I think between the two of them, I think they honestly did the best that they could with what they were given and, like, in the environment that they're in Ferrari. Like I said before, something needs to change in that garage. I don't know what. Like, overhaul your strategy team, whatever. But there is stuff going on that does not make any sense. And is killing all of the success that they could have on track.
No, yeah, I would agree with that completely. I'd be a little more generous and say, like, B+ for Leclerc, B+ for Sainz, B maybe for the team.
Okay, I mean, that's a little more positive.
They were fine all around. They definitely had some good performances here and there. Maybe team strategy cost them, but I would definitely say Ferrari was still the second best car out there consistently throughout the season.
And I would agree with that, but I think that, like, in terms of, like, the team ranking, I think that's where I struggle, like, elevating it a little bit because, like, you shouldn't have that many strategy calls go wrong and not learn from your mistakes and do better. So I think that's kind of where I'm like, it's hard to be a little bit more positive on that end.
No, that's fair.
It's going to be really interesting to see what Vassar does over the winter. Because let's not forget, he came in February and literally had like 2 weeks to figure out everything that was going on. So I really want to see. I'm on the same page as you guys, by the way, where the drivers B+, like nothing amazing, but still pretty good seasons. Ferrari, yeah, like a B- maybe, or C+. Car's good. Pit wall's okay. But I really want to see what Vassar can do with this team and if he makes any big changes now that he's going to have a full year under his belt. He gets a full winter to do a full assessment. Probably told ownership he's not going to make any big changes until he can have a look out and see everything up close for himself too.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Again, you forget about that. It's only been his first year.
Yep. And again, he came in late. Like the first little, like he has a full winter to put his stamp on the team. So I'm curious to see what direction they go in terms of car design and then also in terms of personnel.
And like, yeah,
Like if they
this
make
year
any
wasn't his
big
car,
offseason.
right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Like
he
that.
had
Like
nothing.
he had to basically strip it down a little bit and then do what he can under a cap. So
Yeah.
again, give him a full off season, see what he does, see how the car comes out in testing, and then I think he'll like again, if anything, the biggest thing now will be personnel changes. I don't know who they. I'm trying to remember if they have anyone coming in from like a Red Bull or Mercedes. I don't remember. But
I
anyways,
don't know.
because that could be good. Could lead to a rough start as new team leads get acclimatized with the drivers, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yep. So B's for the Italians. Now let's go to the orange guys in England. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and McLaren.
I'm very, very torn on how I want to grade this because that beginning was fucking horrendous.
Atrocious. It was
But the
atrocious.
back
I'll
half
grade it on a curve.
was-
I'll say great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. The first bit was so fucking bad, but the back half was amazing. So,
Like when doing this, you have to also rate like your expectations on different parts of the year, right? Like
well,
beginning of the
here
year,
you want to.
like everyone thought
True.
McLaren was going to be good, and then no, they were not.
No,
Then-
we had McLaren as being very, very bad.
Well, out of testing, remember?
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
But you don't
Yeah.
expect that going in. And their turnaround in their car, I would put them as an early favorite to be number 2 next year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I thought they did a great job developing the car. I thought Piastri was a very good rookie. Definitely should
Rookie
win.
of the year.
Yep. I wonder who that'll
Yep.
be next year. There is no
Oh, wait.
rookie.
No rookie.
Well, you never know. Maybe we get Lawson thrown into the car at some point.
He's already raced.
That
He's
would
not a
be
rookie.
Oh, true.
Shit.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Or like you get Schumacher
Well,
back
no.
in. He's not a rookie.
No, Lawson I don't think has raced enough to be considered a rookie or to not be considered a rookie. I don't know how it works.
I think 5 races is a good amount.
Oh, he's got. Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot he had 5 races. Yeah, you know what? That's like almost a fifth, or yeah, a fifth
Quarter
of
of a
this, more than a fifth.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah, I would
Um,
say to the drivers, honestly, for McLaren, probably B's around. I didn't think they had exceptional performances. Lando carried the team, couldn't have any major, I guess, milestones like a win or anything like that. Piastri got the sprint race win the one time.
mhm.
He looked strong.
Right.
What was it, Qatar? So, yeah, I would say to the drivers, probably both B's for me, and for the team, an A- for the recovery alone. From going
Okay.
from like 10th to 2nd in a year, and basically like 4 months, I thought that's a good performance.
Yeah. I ended up going with McLaren as a team as an A. Same reasoning, just the speed of the recovery and doing it underneath a cost cap is pretty good. Norris B plus, Piastri I bumped up to an A minus because to figure it out as a rookie that quickly. Once the car got under him, I'd say that's a pretty impressive. And getting a sprint win, you can technically say he's won before Lando has.
Yeah, that's fair.
So bump him up a little bit, even though I know he scored way less points than Lando. But
Taylor.
That's fair. I don't know. Like, I'd say maybe a B minus for the team. And Lando and Piastri, honestly, they surprised me. I give them both B pluses. They were solid. They were solid.
Yeah,
In
it
the
was
second half.
it was a good performance, I think, for the team. Like again, you had to have some kind of recency bias of how the season ended,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like your jumping off point for next season. So yeah.
Yep. The French.
Oh, the French struggled this season.
Some might say we, but in this case, I'll say C.
Boo.
Oh, come on, that's a fucking good one.
I would also give them a C. It didn't look great. I think they had a lot of struggles throughout the season. I think they had high moments, but there were a lot more low moments.
I would say the drivers both C pluses, the team C minus. Like just
Yeah,
from
I
all
would
the
agree with that.
from all the off track stuff of guys in and out, like the I guess hierarchical shakeup that happened, like
It was a little messy.
it's such a clusterfuck of a team right now. And like you can even see it where like, they had on average the longest pit stops this year.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's
So-
bad.
Something there is not clicking. The drivers, I think, are overperforming that car and that team. And like, if it wasn't for those two, if you threw, say, the Haas guys into the Alpine, I think they're a bottom 2 team.
Yeah, and that's why I went just a little higher with a B minus for the drivers, just because the team was outside of the drivers. The team was a bit of a sideshow with all the the best things that happened to this team this year were they got Deadpool, Kermit the Frog, but a quarterback and a bunch of other athletes to sign on as investors.
Which quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, did Martin Brundle get to interview him this time?
You mean Paolo Banchero?
That's one of the funniest things ever.
God.
And slightly racist.
Yes.
But yeah, they are the quintessential mid team.
Mm-hmm.
The top 5 should always beat them, and they should always beat the bottom 4. They are your measuring stick.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alpine. You are the participation medal, basically.
Yeah.
Next, again, anyone else have anything else to add for Alpine?
Nah.
No, not really. I mean, mid.
Actually, yeah. You know what? That's what we're doing. We're just changing every grade to M for meh or mid.
Yeah.
your choice.
Okay, let's go kind of speed round for the last bottom half of the grid. Albon and Williams and Sargent.
Albon, I kind of want to give like B plus.
I was thinking A.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him an
Albon,
A-.
A. Sergeant, D.
C.
Miracle, he retained his seat, but all right.
You know what? I will give it.
Williams?
Sargent wasn't always last. Like, it's not like the days
True,
with the
fair.
last guy was always last. Like, he had his first race, he was 12th. Then 16th, 16th, last. 18th, last. 13th, 11th, so close to points. 13th, 14th, 10. Like, he wasn't the bottom of the barrel guy. But you need to put in more point finishes. Especially when your teammate was, 27 points and you had 1. Oof.
Yeah, but he's also again he's a rookie and a back marker, so
Rookie, back marker.
should score again if he gets up into like double digit points next year, depending on how assuming the Williams doesn't catapult up like a McLaren or an Aston Martin.
If Williams are where they are next year, I think it's a good season.
Yeah.
But if all of a sudden you have Sargent putting in better results, they could easily be up there higher.
Yeah.
And if Alpine continues to shoot itself in the foot, or you just get tighter competition throughout the grid, you know what? You could have a very fun season next year with some of these teams.
Yep. So what do we say Williams as a team? Like C or B? I don't know.
I'd go B minus. I'd go B minus on them.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a disaster, but I think they're...
I think they show promise.
They're doing a slow
Yeah.
build.
Yeah, honestly,
Mhm.
they're a team that's benefited from the cost cap. Clearly, they're working their way up. They have sponsors in the car. They're a fun team to follow. Like, yeah, they're fine all around.
Mhm.
All right, AlphaTauri.
Mm.
Yuki Tsunoda, I would give a B plus,
Yeah.
mostly because he was the only consistent thing in that team all year.
Yeah. Ricardo.
Like, he literally was like consistently like either just in the points or just outside the points.
Yeah, I like the B plus for Yuki.
Yeah.
I feel like Ricardo, no rating because not enough data. I don't know. He like raced for what? 4 races, 3 races at the end?
Yeah, 2 races, broke a hand, and then recovered,
yeah.
and then came back. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, NA for Ricardo.
And
I was gonna say just like maybe like a C or a B minus. Like nothing overly notable.
all right.
Fine.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like
Fine.
it's just
He gets a fail, okay?
it's a fail.
If you only do half the project, you don't get a pass. He didn't do a full project. He fails. Nick DeVries fails. Liam Lawson. You know what? He
A
wasn't.
plus.
He wasn't even supposed to be there. He got called
Yeah.
up all of a sudden.
And honestly, he was actually really good. Good for him.
Yeah.
Showed some good promise. Hope he's in F1 at some point.
Yeah, C
The
minus
fact
for him.
and then for the team overall, I almost want to the fact that we graded 4 drivers. I kind of want to be like D.
But at the same time, they still came eighth?
Yeah.
Like 2 teams were worse than them. How the
Yeah,
fuck?
I know.
Okay,
Oh.
they get a C minus because they weren't last, but still somewhat of like a weird situation going on. So like, figure it out.
Yeah. C minus for AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Okay, Alpha. What's next? Alfa
Alfa
Romeo.
Romeo?
Yeah, they're alpha.
Yeah.
Okay, D. Forgettable. Honestly, forgettable.
Bottas C.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe.
Bottas C. Joe
C.
C minus.
Yeah.
The team is itself D plus.
Yeah, fair.
I
D
don't.
plus.
There's not a whole lot there.
There's really not much there at all. Like again, they were forgettable. Honestly, I kind of forgot that they were on the grid at some like at a certain point.
Bottas gets a C for cheeked up just for the calendar.
That's
Yeah, fair enough.
Or B for buns. Who knows?
B for buns.
A for ass. You know what? Fuck it.
There we
A
go.
for ass.
There you go.
If we were rating calendars, then sure, we could give him an A.
If we were rating the amount of nudity of the driver we've seen, Bottas number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
alas, this is about performance.
Yeah.
So.
But alas.
Yeah.
And finally,
Haas F.
What are we doing here? Like really, Haas.
F. Like F for last. Fail.
You clear out your drivers last year. Bring in these younger guys. And what? Like you get rid of Schumacher, who's up and coming. You put in, who was it? Hulkenberg.
Who's mid?
You know what? Here's the funny thing.
what's
Race by race, Magnussen did better than Hulkenberg.
Not surprising.
But Hulkenberg got more points. Oof. Yeah, that's a rough one. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a whole lot of notes for that.
There's not much to say about Haas. Honestly, there really isn't.
They all get
Until they give us something to talk about.
Everyone gets an F for forgettable.
I was going to say for freedom, but okay.
Gonna go with what?
Freedom? Because, like, America? Freedom?
No, it's just Logan Sargent.
Ooh, can we give Haas an A for get Andretti in here already?
Yes.
If only that's how it was working.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them a
You want
D.
to hear it? Yeah.
They weren't terrible. They still got 12 points. They were the highest scoring last place team in like the last decade.
All right, fair
So
enough.
fine.
D it is.
I'll give them a D. But fuck, that's a brutal year for Haas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want to hear how wrong we were from our
Sure.
predictions?
Yeah, what was our predictions and where do we end up?
What do you want? You want drivers or teams first?
Go drivers.
All right, drivers. Two of us were smart and said Verstappen will repeat. Someone said Leclerc.
Any guess of who said
Oh.
Leclerc?
Yeah.
Who would
Yes.
have done that? Who would have done that?
Okay, so good for us, Steven. We were logical in that moment.
we hit the layup. The layup.
Let me be delusional.
From there on out, there was only one correct guess or prediction, I guess, for the drivers, and it was me saying for a Red Bull was going to 1-2 again because Sean also was slightly delulu and said Leclerc second.
All
Okay,
right,
fair enough.
So, Taylor obviously had Verstappen second because she wasn't that crazy. Sean had Sainz third, which, not the worst, I guess, if you're
Not the worst.
did somewhat project Perez fall off. I had Leclerc, Taylor had Alonso, Sean had Perez fourth, I had Sainz, Taylor had Perez, and Sean and I both had Alonso fifth, and Taylor had Sainz fifth.
So
So.
Realistically,
It's not that bad.
We had the top 4 performers of the
It wasn't
year.
that bad.
Except
No.
we also thought Mercedes would be a lot worse. We didn't think Lewis would do as well. And
Yeah.
Sainz had Sainz luck.
Yeah. So
Okay. What about
teams.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Teams. I was correct with Red Bull because obviously I had them
course
one
you
too. I
were.
can't have them outside of.
Were we
You both had
Jalulu?
Ferrari. Yes, you both had Ferrari for some reason.
You're so delulu.
I drank
and
the
then
Kool-Aid, I'm sorry.
yeah, then you flip it for second. So I had Ferrari, you two had Red Bull. This is where Sean gets a little crazy. He had Alpine third.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was I on? Holy shit.
Yeah, Taylor was right for a little bit because she had Aston Martin third, which
Okay. Not bad.
for the first half of the season looked reasonable. And then they just sort of fucked off. I had Mercedes third, which was actually an undershoot, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Sean had Mercedes fourth. Or no, I'm just going to go through individually. Sean had Mercedes fourth, nailed Aston Martin in fifth, had Alfa Romeo. We both had Alfa Romeo as sixth. Haas seventh for Sean. McLaren eighth, Williams ninth, Alpha Tauri 10th. Taylor, after a top three of Ferrari, Red Bull, Aston Martin, had Alpine, so also a little fucking nuts. Mercedes
Delulu.
fifth, Haas sixth,
Jesus.
McLaren seventh, got AlphaTauri correct with their eighth place finish, and then Williams and Alfa Romeo. And then I had Aston Martin fourth, Alpine fifth, Alfa Romeo sixth, McLaren seventh, which thank God I was wrong, Haas eighth, AlphaTauri ninth, and Williams in 10th. So we only got 3 right on the constructors and only 3 right on the drivers.
But we learned a lot along the way, did we not?
We did.
Sure.
Next year, I'm not being so delusional.
Yeah, next year I'm just going to basically take the same constructors last year, same order.
Actually, no. We know next year I'm going to forget saying that I'm not going to be delusional and I'm going to show up in March and be like, Delulu?
What do we
Hello?
always say? You don't read into testing. What do we do every single year? Read into testing.
testing. But
Isn't
also,
that the purpose of what we do here, though?
yeah.
If you don't
But
have
also-
fun, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Taylor does have the Cowboys / Leafs delusion as a Ferrari fan of it's always our year until it's not.
Excuse me? What did you just say? I don't have any Cowboys delusion, okay? Look. Leafs delusion, I'll take. Ferrari delusion, I
It's
will
the
take.
same thing. It's blue and white disease.
Ferrari's red.
Whatever.
Yes, okay, yes, but in North America, it's blue and white disease.
Look,
In
let
Europe,
me
it can be-
have my delusional state of being. It brings me joy to think that my teams that I support have a chance, okay? Because next year, let me tell you something. The Leafs are going to the Stanley Cup, Ferrari's winning the Constructors, and the Chargers are going to the Super Bowl, okay? 2024 is going to be the year.
I just enjoy the whole ride, the ups, the downs. So I'm just gonna stick with Aston Martin for a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
One last question I have for y'all. Do we have anything else, Steven, there?
No, and the game's starting, so hurry
Oh
up.
my God! Fuck off with your Monday Night Football. Okay,
It's for the conference lead. A share of the conference lead. But
you have like 4 hours of football left. You can chill out for like 10 minutes. What was everyone's favorite race of the season?
Ooh, good question. Montreal. Because I was there.
That's a good answer. That is fine, respectable answer.
Thank you.
Steven?
I'm trying to think. Because part of me wants to just say Singapore.
That's
was a
perfectly
good
fine.
race.
We didn't know who was
That's
going to
the-
win.
Yeah, that's literally the only reason.
So
I will
Singapore
not
for
be
you?
taking questions. Yep, I'm not taking any questions.
Okay. Monaco.
Interesting.
Okay.
What happened
Okay.
to Monaco? What happened to Monaco?
Ooh, I don't remember.
It rained.
Oh, right. Yes, it rained.
It was a wet.
Ah.
It was a dry race that went wet, and it was chaotic as hell.
Right. That was fun. I remember it being very fun. Okay,
Yes.
good.
So yeah, for me, Monaco was one of the most fun races of the year, because in the race itself, you didn't know what was going to happen, and that made it fun. Again, it's the not being able to know. It's the unpredictability of sport, which is why we watch it. So then when you have a race, and they're off, Max wins, yay. That's why all of us are out of it. So everyone gets bored of F1 now. But in those few races we had, even though Max won them, when you had the chaos up, what's going to happen? Those are the ones you got to be like, yes, they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
And also, honorable mention goes to Abu Dhabi. Just because it ended the season, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
Abu Dhabi was the gun taking me out back when it came to
I
the
thought-
season.
Oh my gosh.
Part of me thought you were going to say Las Vegas for a second.
That's a top 5. I will say that's a top 5 race.
Weekend
Okay.
overall, no. Race, yes.
Least favorite race of the season.
FP1 and 2 of Las Vegas.
Race, asshole. Race. Whole event.
Oh.
Uh,
I don't know. There's like
sure. Miami.
Austin, there's like Miami's up there. I was gonna say like majority of the races.
Austin, Texas. Didn't get to watch it.
Okay, you got married. Stop that.
I'll give that race a 5 out of 10. The wedding and also a 5 out of 10.
That's fair. That's respectable.
This
No.
the speech made it. That leadoff speech made it.
Oh, yes, definitely. The one that followed that was definitely oof.
Lot to be desired.
Wow. Wow.
Much like Las Vegas had trouble getting off the ground.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, at least, no one was crying in the first 30 seconds of Vegas.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Bye. Y'all suck.
At least
Hate
made
you
it
both.
to the midway point.
Annoying. Bye.
Okay,
Goodbye.
and on
I'm an
that
emotional
note,
being.
on that note, thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at sparepartsracing. That's spareparts RACIN, and on TikTok at sparepartspod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.